When thinking about another perspective, it is easy to look at something drastically different, to try and find the most black and white comparison that one can, and then analyze why those differences exist. This is precisely what I did not want to do. I chose to look at Judaism and the way it impacts families on a micro scale, because I think that too often these individuals are clumped together with the other white people of America and their identity battles erasure, which has historically been problematic. To do so, I spent time with Lucas Gura, a Jewish friend who lives in South Charlotte. I wanted to see how Judaism impacted his overall outlook on the world and his daily life. I had him teach me how to make the Jewish food his family consumes consistently, and accompanied him to temple for a Saturday mid-morning service. I believe that Jewish families have assimilated well into American culture, but that the prejudices they face are still heavily prominent, only hidden slightly more. The first thing we did together was make matzo balls, to make matzo ball soup at his house. These dark yellow balls of grain were very sticky and had to be rolled into small balls and chilled to try and lessen the stickiness, albeit unsuccessfully. Lucas took on the task of dropping the matzo balls into the boiling stew. At this point, he had corrected my enunciation enough to where I stopped putting the hard O sound at the end of matzah instead of matzo. The matzo balls were made up of wheat, rye, oats, barley, and spelt, and are not given the chance to rise, so one would assume that they are very dense once rolled into a ball. However, they became light and airy with an almost fluffy dumpling texture to them when dipped into the water. The simplicity of the soup is what makes it span generations. He told me that for every big family event, it is one of the core parts of every meal. It is something everyone can engage in, whether they are cutting vegetables or rolling the balls. It is truly a family experience that brings them all together. The next thing we made were latkes, or potato pancakes that are also a staple of Jewish diets. These dense discs of potato are mixed with water and then fried on both sides in oil. It is something that pretty much everyone enjoys cross-culturally. It is important when making the latkes to darken each side heavily. In fact, I was reprimanded multiple times during this experience for trying to flip each pancake preemptively, as I was afraid they might burn. But tasting the charred outside with the fluffy interior was truly blissful. Most Jewish families dip theirs in applesauce or sour cream or sprinkle granulated sugar on top of them. We tried all three of these, and the lightness of the toppings helped to balance out the heaviness of the potato. This was the most profound moment for me. Standing outside of Temple Beth El, about to enter the synagogue after dozens of families had already trickled in, I was wrapped up in a momentary feeling of bliss, until I noticed a police officer standing in front of the door. He had a key card to let all of us inside, but I couldn't help but feel my anxiety peak in that moment, and deal with the realization that because of the political climate of America, these sacred spaces are ones that are not innately safe, as they should be. The service we attended doubled as a bat mitzvah service, which is special because it showcased just how important the religion is to the people and the culture as a whole. The rabbis took out the large scrolls that depicted the important parts of the Torah and passed them around to the families and the boys who were celebrating their bar mitzvahs. Throughout these experiences, the one thing that I felt was the most consistent and the most important was the idea of unity. Between the food, family, and friends, and even the artwork, everything was connected. Everything was centered around the idea that we are all just parts of a whole, and that we need these connections as people in order to function. This is a piece of the text from the Torah that we read during prayer. These are the things that are limitless of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world. While the principle remains in the world to come, they are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion. The mural is made up of images of the actual congregation, the actual rabbis from Temple Beth El, and illustrates the importance of nature, unity, and peace towards everyone. This experience was eye-opening. I got to see how strong the Jewish community is, regardless of the historical and present challenges it faces. It was inspiring seeing such importance given to family and the purpose families serve to the individual and society as a whole. I have never been surrounded by so many people who emit such a pure love for one another than I did during this time, and I too felt embraced and loved without hesitation. Their culture shaped their values and beliefs. It gave them a moral standard to live by and pushes them to always treat people better than they have been treated. In my interview, I asked Lucas if he felt that people have treated him differently because he is Jewish, and he told me that people have mocked him relentlessly for it all of his life. Yet I've never seen him treat another person with anything but compassion and kindness. And fundamentally, I think Judaism has helped shape him in that way.